Deuteronomy chapter 30. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee. So he's saying, it shall come to pass. So it shall come, but it's going to pass. It shall come, but we're going to get beyond it. He said, and it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yah thy Elohim have driven thee. So part of the understanding is it just depends on how long we want to be in it. How long do we want to be blessed? How long do we want to be under the curse? All right. He set before us the blessing and the curse. We experienced the blessing then in King David and Solomon's time, and we experiencing the curses right now. So we're going to be in this curse until we decide that we want to be out of this curse. All right. Now, just to give a little bit more of a tidbit of a blessing here, in Deuteronomy 29, it says, the secret things belong unto Yah, our Elohim. So the things that no man knows, all right, they're secret things, all right, that belong to our Creator. It says, but those things which are revealed, so the secret things that belong to Him, the things which are revealed by Him belong unto us and to our children forever. So is there a misunderstanding here? The secret things belong unto the Lord, our Elohim, Yah, our Elohim. Remember, we are Israel of the 12 tribes. And he says, the secret things belong unto Yah, our Elohim. But those things which are revealed, so if he reveals something, he's revealing it unto us and our children forever. So if you go into Romans, I forget where it says, what advantage is Yehuda over the Greek? That's Jew, all right? There was no J. So Yehuda over the Greek, and then he goes on to list every way. This is why, because those things which are revealed belong unto us and our children. For how long? Forever. All right. So he's saying, he gives us an understanding that we may do all the words of this law. Now, again, he said, it will come to pass. We experience the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yah thy Elohim have driven thee. All right. So he says, call into remembrance. All right. So again, it depends on how long do we want to stay in the curses. And it says, and shall return unto Yah thy Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thine soul. So there's things that we have to do. Okay. He said, call them to mind among all the nations whither he has driven us. Once we recognize who we are. All right. And shall return unto him and shall obey his voice according to all that he command us this day. So that means way in the future, when we remember who we are, after we recognize the blessings of David and the blessings of King Solomon and the curses that followed after we fell away. All right. and fell into idolatry and was taken captive because of our wicked ways and such. All right. He said, remember, all right, and return unto him. All right. This is what we have to do. All right. So it just depends on how long do we want to be in the blessing? Well, we passed that part, but how long do we want to stay in this curse? As we awaken, we are coming out of the curses. All right. And it says, third verse, then Yah, thy Elohim, will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether Yah, thy Elohim, has scattered thee. So he making a promise to us. All right. He making a promise to the 12 tribes of Israel. When we start waking up, we remember the covenants. He's going to start to gather us. And it says, if any man be driven into the outermost parts of heaven, from thence will he gather us. From thence will he fetch us. So we could be living out on the moon somewhere, and he'll gather us. All right. It says, and Yah thy Elohim will bring thee unto the land which thy fathers possessed, and shall possess it. So now he's saying, all right, he's going to bring us into a land that our fathers possessed, and shall possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. So he's saying, and the Lord thy Elohim, Yah thy Elohim, will circumcise thy heart and give the heart of thy seed to love the Lord, love Yah thy Elohim with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou may live. So again, he's saying he's going to gather us when we go back to him, the law, statutes, and the commandments, because there's a blessing in it. It's a gift of life, but he's going to gather us. All right. And it says, then Yah, thy Elohim, will put all these curses upon our enemies, and on them which hate us, which persecuted us. So we ain't going to dwell on no hate, because it ain't about hate. But there was some unrighteous things done unto our people that got us in this situation, besides our falling away from that which our ancestors were shown. All right. So they speak of no respect of persons. Well, as he cursed us for certain things, the other nations, the other people that have persecuted us, they are going to get the same curses. All right. One thing I think we have to understand that's beyond our thought, but maybe we could use the Black Panther as a benchmark. The things that we are going to learn in the new kingdom going into eternity are things that we can't comprehend now. There are certain laws and understandings that we have yet to learn that will be taught unto us. That's a whole nother level. It's kind of like being given the knowledge of understanding when it comes to physics and being able to teach it to other people. It's going to be a whole new level of understanding, but we got to get there first. And it says, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yah and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. And Yah, thy Elohim, will make thee plenteous in the work of thy hand. Okay. In every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, for good. For Yah will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yah thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if thou would turn unto Yah thy Elohim with all thine heart and all thy soul. Okay, then he goes on to say, for this commandment which I command thee this day, is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldst say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldst say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. But it says, but the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. And he says, see, I have set before thee this day life and good and death and evil. Wow. In that I command thee this day to love Yah, thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. Again, remember, somewhere in the book of Hosea, when it says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And because we reject knowledge, he will reject us as his priests. Every man and every woman in every household, it has a responsibility to teach these things to their children. All right. So they know how to behave when they go out, and so that they could be angelically protected in mind, body, and spirit. And it says, and the Lord and Yah, thy Elohim, shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Okay. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away to worship other Elohims and serve them, okay, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou goest, where thou passest over the Jordan to go possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you. Think about this. He called heaven and earth to record this day. This is our ancestors way back then. All right. Right after he delivered us from the Egyptians. All right. And Moses speaking to us. Okay. And God says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you. All right. That I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Wow. That thou mayest love Yah, thy Elohim, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yah sware unto thy fathers. So here he says, he swore unto our fathers. So there's a land that he swore unto our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. So he's saying we have land that he swore unto us. We just got to line up and claim it. With that being said, all praises to Yah and his son, Yahushua, here now and forevermore. Amen.